So today we're going to talk about solving the biggest challenge that I feel roofing contractors face, and that is unconverted leads. It's a big challenge in the industry. It's a big challenge for people's companies, for contractors. And I think that in solving it is one of the most important things that you could do. A lot of times we think that we have a marketing issue, or a lot of times but a lot of times it's in the handoff from marketing to sales. And I believe that it's like a relay race, and marketing to sales, there is a handoff. It's like that baton handoff in a relay race, and both departments are touching that at one time. And if that baton gets dropped, that's where the unconverted leads come into play. So for the next hour, if you could turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook, we can really make an impact in your business over the next hour here. So turn off all of that stuff. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know who I am, Jim Aline with Roofer Marketers. If you don't know who I am, I'm the author of 2 books, co-author of 2 books. My business partner wrote them with me: Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors and The Best Known Roofer. I speak at a lot of industry events. We're members of the NRCA. I'm the host of the Roofing Success podcast. I'm the marketing coach in Adam Bensman's Pitch Pro movement. We are the preferred marketing company for ICO Roof Pro partners, and we are also a Google partner. And this is what we do all day, every day. We do digital marketing for roofing companies. And we focus on 3 core principles in the way that we look at marketing for roofing companies. The first is to maximize the opportunity to make the phone ring, right? So that could be through Google Local Services ads, Google pay-per-click advertising, getting your maps listing ranked, getting your website ranked, Facebook ads, organic social media. All of these things online are ways to make your phone ring. Offline, you have billboards, you have, door knocking, right? You have you have television commercials, radio commercials, you have direct mail, so many ways to make your phone ring. But we feel that maximizing the opportunity to make the phone ring is a core part of your business. I'm a big fan of a business philosopher named Jim Rohn, who passed away many years ago. One of the things that I took from him early on is you need 5 to 7 lead sources to have consistent lead flow in your business. So maximizing the opportunity to make your phone ring. The next thing that we focus on is maximizing your brand impressions to your customer. That's that best known concept that we have, right? The more people know you, the more mental real estate that you occupy, the more likely someone is going to call you when they have an issue. So maximizing your brand impressions to your perfect customer. And our third core principle is to maximize the conversion rates of each of the marketing channels that you're marketing in. And this is what today's presentation is mostly about. It sits in this core focus of ours about maximizing conversion rates. So in talking to roofing contractors, there are a lot of challenges, right? Drop in the chat what your biggest challenge is with your roofing company in terms of marketing. All right. Paying marketers who don't deliver. Qualified leads. I love it. Qualified leads, Mel says. How can you tell if it's working? That's a good hey, man, that is a great thing. Like sometimes you don't even know what the results should be. So how do you even measure the results? That's a great concept, or a great thought there, Levi. So I hear from a lot of roofing companies, a lot of times I hear, man, we just don't have enough leads, right? If we had more leads, we'd generate more revenue, we'd be more successful, but we just don't have enough of them. Another thing, and to that.
Can I dive in there real quick? I don't think
sure.
sometimes it's about having enough leads. It's about actually having leads that are worth your time.
Leads that are working, right? So talking about the next thing here is, right, low lead quality, right? Like if the leads aren't working, what's going on here? Why are, are they qualified leads, to Mel's point, right? Quality leads Sergio put in there, right? So, how do we get quality leads? How do we get in front of the right person at the right time? Tracking the numbers to make it look like conversions. So low quality leads, that's a big one, right? Just the challenge of, the home advisor, 5 companies, you might not even 5 companies, going after the same lead. There's a bad phone number, maybe a bad email address. There's, and the person is just looking for a roof on their doghouse, right? Like, what is a quality lead and how do you get in front of those people? Low quality leads is a challenge that we hear of a lot. Another challenge that I see I hear from roofing contractors a lot is that the lead cost is too high, so your return on investment is low, right? That's a big challenge. Google pay-per-click is an expensive way to make the phone ring. If you're in a major market like Denver, where you guys are, or if you're down in the DFW or in Orlando or here in Minneapolis, man, it might take it might cost $250 to make the phone ring through that channel. So that lead cost is really high. And if you can't sell, if you're not able to create a return on investment out of that, man, it just doesn't work, right? So another part of it is lack of clear tracking for your ROI. And if you Justin put that in chat here, and someone else here, who else did that? How to tell if it's working, right? From Levi, like having clear tracking for ROI from the lead sources, from each lead source. That's a big challenge. One of the things that I also see is that there's almost too many options out there, right? There's almost too many options when it comes to lead generation. You could buy leads from all the lead aggregators, Home Advisor, Angie's List, Thumbtack, Porch, Networks. You got all the telemarketing companies out there, and there's some good ones and there's some challenging ones. There's, you could do SEO, you could do pay-per-click, you could do Google local services ads, you can, do Facebook ads, you could do billboards, you could do all of these options. It's hard to really know which ones are the right place to put your money. And so with all of these options, though, to me, the lead flow is not the specific problem, because there are so many options available to work a lead, right? Again, in terms of, of online, you have your pay-per-click, your SEO, you have referral programs, social media advertising, pay-per-lead, you have your repeat and referral business, retargeting, all of these things. But what we see is the biggest challenge is in unconverted leads. We have a company that we work with up in the Pittsburgh area, and they're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Morgantown, West Virginia. They have 2 locations. We were talking last month. They're converting their leads to sales at 63%. That's efficiency in converting leads, right? But it takes a lot of steps in the process, especially when people are searching for you online. But even if they're calling you from a TV ad, from a radio ad, all of that. So if you can really get your conversion rate up from lead to close sale, but there's a lot of steps in that process. I've had a couple of interviews on my podcast. Jason Phillips from Phillips Home Improvement down in Dallas. Chuck Toki and I talked about this on one of the podcasts. There's really 2 sales that get made in a lead gen to sale process, right? From that handoff from marketing to sales. The first sale that gets made is the appointment, right? If you're not selling the appointment, selling that home visit, you're missing out on a big opportunity. The second sale is done at the kitchen table, right? So you really have 2 sales. And if you're missing that first one, It's really challenging. So to that point, 50 to 60% of inbound leads leave unconverted. So those home advisor leads, all of those types of things, they're just completely unconverted. 90% of web forms fail to convert for most contractors. So if somebody fills out the form on your website, you really have a low chance of converting those in most cases. And some of the reason that happens is because the first reason really is that leads are not followed up with in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So in your guys' process, in your follow-up process, someone fills out the form on your website. In your standard operating procedure for your roofing company, type in chat the amount of time that you allow your rep, CSR, office manager, whoever's managing that lead, how long are you letting them, how long are you requiring, or how soon are you requiring that coming in, or them getting a hold of the contact? Sergio said that's the biggest challenge with them. If there's statistics that have been done where if a lead is not followed up with in 5 minutes, you have an 80% less chance of ever getting a hold of them. So that's not ever closing the deal. That's ever getting a hold of that customer. So make sure that you're following up with your leads within 5 minutes. The average customer must be followed up with 5 to 7 times before booking with you. Today's consumer is open to interact via text message, phone call, and email, right? So you don't just have to call them. You don't have to just have to email them. There are multiple ways that you can interact with your customers. So to do this, the solution here is to use technology, right? Use technology, leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms within the first 2 minutes, via phone, email, text message. If you're buying leads from Home Advisor networks, you could drop those into automated sequences that start to communicate with those people instantaneously, right? You don't have to rely on if your office manager is available at that time, or if they're on the phone with a customer or something like that. And the automated follow-up can be put in place so that every prospect is touched 5 to 7 times, right? 5 times plus to engage in two-way text messaging. So I know this is kind of funny math, but just to accentuate the point, right? If you had 100 leads at a 30% conversion rate, you book 30 jobs out of it, you average job of $10,000, that's $300,000 in gross revenue to your company. If you could increase that, right, to 70%, that would be $700,000 in gross revenue to your company. So squeeze in the juice, right? The more that you can squeeze the juice, the better processes that you have in place to turn that lead into a closed sale makes every lead more valuable. And there's an old adage, the company that can pay the most for a customer wins, right? And that the ones that can pay the most are the ones that know, in fact, that they can turn those leads into customers and generate the long-term value of those customers. So drop in chat here what some of your takeaways are, questions, comments. What are some key takeaways in that?
I guess I'll say something, Jim. How you doing?
Yeah, man.
That's exactly what's been happening. We use an app called we pretty much all of our marketing comes through Facebook ads, and we use High Level. It works. It's pretty good, but we have a team where they're the ones making the phone calls once the lead comes in. And we do have a 5-minute markup, but it's very difficult. And we do get leads on a daily basis, but our conversion rate right now, it's about maybe 10-15%. It's very, very low. We just started. It's been a month already.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been very low. So that's, you hit the nail right in the head. This is our problem right now.
Yeah, man. And so are you using the automated call feature in Go High Level?
Not the call, but it automatically sends them a text right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll show you guys a workflow a little bit later on in Contractor Boost, which is our Go high level system. And that might help you out. That might help you out, Sergio, in kind of helping put the right process in place, because the goal is getting them on the phone, of course, right? The people on the phone. I like to say, like if you have a problem, right? Let's say, here in Minnesota, it's wintertime and my furnace goes out. I start calling HVAC companies. As soon as I have someone coming out to my house, I feel pretty much like the problem is going to be solved, right? So it's that appointment set. As soon as that appointment is set, people feel like their problem is solved or is going to be solved. So they stop calling other companies, right? Now, once they get the bid or estimate, you might go, oh, well, let me maybe call a couple of people here. That seems, to see if I'm getting, paying the right amount or whatever. But once, that's really a big part of it is getting those people on the phone, getting an appointment booked. So we'll talk about that. Facebook is another, saying that most of your leads are coming in from Facebook. That's another aspect of it too. You have to understand the lead source and the type of people who are submitting those forms on Facebook. They don't have the commercial intent. They may not be as much in buying mode as someone who's searching on Google for roofer near me, right? So not that Facebook ads are extremely effective, but the conversion rates on Facebook ads may be different than something coming in off of a Google ad. So other things to consider in that stuff, Sergio. Dominic said, end up running late. All right. Josh, 5-minute follow-up to conversion percentages are eye-opening, man. Josh, people move on, right? Like if someone is searching and they go down to that map section and they call your company, if they get a voicemail, if they're on hold for too long, they're hanging up, they're calling the next company. If they submit a form on your website, they're going to move down the list and submit a form on someone else's website unless you get them on the phone, right? So that's the really statistics on best times to call people, Linda, really as ASAP, right away. But in your automated follow-up, what Sergio's talking about, in the automated follow-up, let's say it's outside of your business hours, you can then ask them, hey, what would be the best time to call you back during the business hours? And that can all be automated. And I'll show you that a little bit later in the presentation. So the first thing we want to do is engage our customers the way they want to engage, right? We want to give them a lot of options. Some people will fill out a form on a website. Some people will, most homeowners looking for roofing contractors will make a phone call. Another percentage of them will want to chat on your website. Others will like to communicate through SMS. So you have to have your system set up. You have to have your process set up to communicate with them however they are communicating with you. If someone is communicating with you on Facebook, communicate with them on Facebook. But text messages are really an extremely important part of what we do in today's marketing, because 98% of all text messages are opened, right? How many times do you get a text message and you don't open it? It's very rarely. Recently, I've started getting a lot of spam text messages. So I have been swiping those away and deleting them right away. And 95% of text messages are opened and responded to within 3 minutes of being delivered. The way that you word your text messages are very important. Wording your text messages in what we refer to as a SPEAR, specific, personal, expecting a response. So I see Victor here. He looks like he's hanging out at the beach. That text message might say, Victor, saw you filled out a form on our website for a free estimate. What is the best time to call you? Right? It's specific, it's personal, and I'm expecting a response. That's the best way to send these messages. And now Victor, when he gets off the beach, done having his cocktails, he can then, he can respond back to that text message. That's awesome, man. I like nice vacation you got going on there. That's awesome. Linda said, are there statistics? At what point in all the communication do you become a stalker rather than a contractor? I have a good friend, Linda, who is owns a software for real estate investors called Freedom Soft. And we were talking one day and I was like, Rob, man, I get like 5 emails a day from you. And he said, you know what? If people aren't unsubscribing, I'm not sending enough emails. So you have to go right up to that line of being the stalker, right? Some people appreciate it, right? Because they were busy at work. They filled out a form. They got busy with the kids. They got busy at work, and you continue to follow up with them, right? So don't, a lot of times we try to shape what we do around the worst people that we deal with, right? That really, like the person that'll call your company after you sent them a postcard and they're like, hey, you don't send me postcards. We're like, yeah, we do. It's the US Post Office, right? Like we just set it up and they deliver it. You can't tell me not to send you postcards, right? Hey, sorry, you don't have a no soliciting sign on your door. I didn't mean to offend you by knocking, but I'm here today. Would you mind if I jump up on your roof and see if you have any damage from the recent storm? Right? Like there is a point, don't conform your systems and bend to the worst people, right? If you don't put out content on your social media because because of those terrible people on the internet, that'll leave you leave a comment, that's not effective. That's not, particularly good for your company. So stock them is my answer, Linda. Stock them all. So again, follow up quickly. We went through this, right? Leads that are not followed up with 5 minutes go cold. A follow-up within 5 minutes is 21 times more effective than calling after 30 minutes. After 5 minutes, the odds of qualifying a lead drops by 80%. And here's the big one. 50% of leads go with the vendor that responds first, right? So you want to increase your conversion rates. If you are the first to respond, you will always have the highest conversion rate. Always. In doing this, we want to leverage automation. So the ideal outcome is a lead comes into your business. That lead gets an email and an SMS message, text message within 30 seconds of submitting that form. Or if they submit a form on your Facebook ad, wherever the form is, right? They submit a form on Home Advisor that comes into your system. Any way that lead comes into your system other than a phone call, they're getting emails and text messages within 5 minutes. Every lead is followed up with at least 7 times or until they book or tell you they're not interested. Linda, that's a better answer. You follow up with them until they say, sorry, I'm not interested. You're bothering me. And you can send them messages that say something like, hey, I don't want to be a stalker, but I still haven't heard from you. Just respond with no, and you won't hear from me again. But if you respond, if you want, let's book a time for me to come out to your house and schedule this appointment. So what this looks like more in real time is you have your website or landing page, you have some AdWords going to it. There's a form that someone fills out and a thank you page. What this looks like as a workflow is now that they've submitted that form, a text message and an email goes out to that person. If it's outside of your business hours, you may communicate with them through a different type of text message or email. Hey, when is the best time to communicate with you? So then if they don't respond to this first text message or email, we wait a little bit of time, and then we start to send them more text messages and emails, maybe call them again. Maybe we send them a schedule your self-scheduling calendar link, right? Hey, I haven't heard from you. Would it be easier if you just scheduled a time on our calendar? Here's a link. And then they can go and schedule a time on your calendar. And you just continuously communicate with them until you get them to respond back. Now, will you get everyone to respond back? No. Especially with Facebook forms. There's, Facebook kind of automatically fills out that form for people, and sometimes it just they're crazy. So how many days should we call 7 times if they're not answering? Man, keep calling like as many times as you can. I had a guy on our podcast recently down in Arizona. They have a 24-point follow-up system. So they're not just calling for 7 days, they're continuing to call and move into long-term follow-up. So, maybe you go into a first initial blitz, right? Where you're emailing them and text messaging them very, very frequently for the first day. And then the second day you communicate with them once. And then maybe 2 days later, you communicate with them again. And then you put them into a long-term follow-up that just starts sending them emails every now and then, or coupons or updates about your company, or, hey, this is our, recent project that we completed. Like there's a lot of ways to keep them in the loop that to potentially get them back to calling you in the first place. So drop a 1 in the chat if you believe that if you followed up with all of the leads in this manner, you would convert more of them. Right? It's very obvious, right? It's very obvious that that's all you got to do. Communicate better with your customers up front, right? Communication is the key. So again, 63 leads here, 40% conversion rate. They got 19 jobs, $19,000 return, $18,580 spend. It's a 10 times ROI, right? Increasing that becomes a 20% ROI, right? What did I put it? So it was 30%. If you can increase your lead conversion rate from 30 to 60%, it's a 20 time return on your ad spend versus that. So now let's do the fun part, right? Let's talk about how to really implement this in your roofing business. So what we talked about is, we talk about completing the forms. We already talked about this. There's a landing page with an application form, and that goes to into the system, into the automations. So this is an example of a website. So someone can call you. They can book a free inspection. That's filling out the form, or they can chat with you, right? So you're giving them multiple options on how to communicate with your company. If they fill out the form, now that form triggers those automations. So once they fill out the form, they go to a page that says, "Thank you, we've received your request. Please have your phone ready. We'll be calling you shortly." And in your automations, you can have, if you have the right software, you can generate a phone call the second that they press submit. So now the phone call comes in. These were forms here. The phone call comes in, appointments get set, right? And that increases that conversion rate. If they don't answer that phone call, we start sending them text messages. We start sending them emails. We go through the whole process like we talked about. And you can bring in all of the different channels, all of the different marketing channels for this. So let's just look at this more in real time. Just log into our system here. So this is Contractor Boost AI. This is our lead management system that we provide to our clients. So what happens is, like, every lead, every phone call, every form submission, everything comes into the system. It is tracked down to its source based through call tracking numbers, Google Analytics, Facebook form submissions, all of it gets tracked in here. So you can see here, this was a Google ad extension call. This was a call from their Google business profile, Google My Business listing. This was a call from direct traffic from their website. This was from a paid search, organic search. This was GMB website traffic. That was a Facebook form submission. So all of the ways that it's coming into the system, we're tagging and tracking all of these. And these are the automations that are built to manage this inbound lead flow. So someone submits a form on the website. So let's do that real quick. So someone hits schedule free estimate. There's a form on the website. They fill it out, replace roof. All right, here's my zip code. Here's my name. Here's my email address. Here's my phone number. If I put my phone number in here and click submit, that takes me to a thank you page that says, hey, thanks for submitting your information. Please be near your phone. We're calling you now. That comes into Contractor Boost, adds a tag. Hey, it was a contact form from the website. We assign a user in the company to receive the information, create an opportunity in that sales pipeline that I showed you guys, add some Google Analytics code for tracking. We check if it's within your business hours or outside of your business hours. If it's outside of your business hours, we send them a text message saying, hey, it's Jim from Prominent Construction letting you know we received your free inspection request. Our office is closed at the moment. Our hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Is there a good time to reach out to you during these business hours? Also send them an email with the same message. If it is within your business hours, we send you guys an internal notification, then we automatically call the client. So this is the step that you want to add, Sergio. Make sure that there is a phone number field in your Facebook ad that is required. So now when I hit submit here, a phone call gets placed to your company. You guys answer the phone. It says you have a new website form lead. To connect with Jim Aline, please press 1. You press 1, it does an outbound dial to the phone number that they put in the form. So if they answer, you're on the phone with them in 20, 30 seconds. That's speed to lead. That is much better than 5 minutes, right? So we're really making sure that we're communicating with them. If they don't answer, we wait a couple of minutes and start sending them text message and emails. Hey, it's Tabitha. Hey, Jim Aline, this is Tabitha with Prominent Construction. I'm following up with the contact form you submitted on your free estimate. Please either give me a text or call me back at your earliest convenience, right? And then we send them emails. Then we wait 10 more minutes and send them more text messages, more emails, and just continuously communicate with them. Victor has his hand up. What's up, Victor? You'll have to unmute Victor if you have a question.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Is it? Oh, the question I had, and I don't know if you can hear me, is
I can
this
hear
going to be available recorded? Because I keep losing signal here on the beach.
Yeah, yes, sir. It will be recorded. It'll be on our, you'll get an email about the recording in a day or two, either Friday or Monday. When's it going out, Nikki? Friday or Monday?
Monday, but I could send
Monday.
it. today.
Okay. Replay will go out Monday. It'll be on our YouTube channel. Be able to check it out for sure.
All right, cool. I'm going to stay on, but I do keep losing
Awesome.
signal. So if I disappear, it's because I lost you.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right, cool. So now that's what those automations look like in real time of how you can set this up in an automated way. Now, what does that look like for a real company, a real person calling in, right? You can set this up for missed calls. So automating your missed calls. If you do miss a call, like we have a missed call automation. So somebody called in at 7:48 a.m. The call was missed. A text message went out to them. Hey, just saw I missed your call. How can we help? Well, look, hey, it's Ben Schmidt. He replied back. Or I got a hold of Ben Schmidt. So he was looking for Ben, probably one of their reps or something like that. Sounds great. Thank you. Let's look through some other ones. Make sure you record all of your phone calls, right? Make sure all phone calls are recorded. As business owners, you have to be able to train and manage the people that are answering the phone calls. Let's look at this one. All right, this would be an example. This was a contact form. The outbound call was made. They did not answer. So then a text message goes out, an email goes out, a text message goes out, a text message goes out. Hey, Paul called in, 2 minutes, 35 seconds. Colton will be contacting you shortly with that to schedule that appointment. Thank you. Right. So the automation was in place all the way. Let's see when this started. This started August 22nd at 4:22 p.m. Right? 4:25, the text message, they get the text message, they get the email. 4:35, they get another text message, email. The morning of the 23rd, hey, haven't heard from you, wanted to follow up. No one at Prominent Construction touched this lead. This is all through the automations. In doing so, Paul called in, right? So that's the power of these automations. Let's see what this one was. Same thing, outbound phone call, missed. So someone filled out the contact form, missed the call, text message goes out, email goes out, phone call comes in. All right, cool. Rob will be calling you to schedule your appointment. All right, so can you see the power in the automations? Drop a 1 in the chat if you could see the power in setting up these automations, right? That the technology is there for you. You don't need to just rely on the people in your office to constantly respond to phone calls, constantly, be in charge of all of this. Mike, what's up, man? How are you? Got your hand raised. Haven't seen you in a bit.
Yeah, so I've been watching your stuff offline. Yeah, it's good.
Right on, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man.
Quick question. So, as far as automation tools, do you have some automation tools that you recommend? Is this automation tool a part of Contractor Boost AI, or is it an add-on? Or
all of this is Contractor Boost AI.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yep. So this is Contractor Boost AI. Now, for people that this will be available as a standalone software to you guys probably Q4 of this year. Right now, it's only available to clients of ours at Roofer Marketers. So right now we're making sure that we have all the bugs worked out before releasing it as its own software to the general public. But there are other things that you can, that other systems that you can put into place that have some of that similar functionality. So call tracking metrics and call rail, both are great call tracking systems that will allow for that form reaction where it automatically calls the person that submits a form. Those two systems don't have the automated text message and follow-ups. I know there's some other ones in the industry. I think like Hatch. I think Hatch is one of them. There's a couple of other ones that if you pieced a couple of softwares together, you'd be able to make that work. So
Thank you.
So just to recap, again, leads that are not followed up within 5 minutes go cold. A follow-up within 5 minutes is 21 times more effective than calling after 30 minutes. 50% of leads go with the company that responds first. And 98% of text messages are open. 95% are opened and responded to within 3 minutes. So extremely impactful to build these processes into your system. Will you make more money if you are doing this for your leads, right? Of course we are. Lots of good questions here. Now let's open it up for questions. Like just whatever you want to talk about, anything you want to throw out there, we can chat about. Feel free to unmute or drop a question in the chat. Let's see who else is on here. We got Adam on here, Pam, Mel, Linda's on here, Levi, Justin, Josh, Dominic, Danny, Basil, Alan. No one has any questions. Feel free to ask them if you have to. Make sure you check out the Roofing Success podcast. It's a show where I interview successful roofing contractors on the lessons they've learned, on the things that they're doing well in their business, that have worked well for them in their business. Also give us a call directly at at our phone number. You can scan the QR code. And it'll take you right to our page to book an appointment to talk to us about what we can do for your business. We'll go back to Dominic. How many times in the first day does your best contractor follow up? Depends on what time of day they respond, Dominic. So, if they respond early in the morning, you're probably following up 4 or 5 times during that first day, because that's when they're the hottest, right? That's when they're really most excited. That's when they filled out the form. And then you want to just, like I said, stagger that out. The further you get away from that initial submission, the longer interval you would use between contacting them. But man, you could set an automation up for a year, right? That until they respond and tell you to stop, you just keep asking them if they need more information, right? So is that helpful, Dominic? All right. Mel says, what about responding to Facebook chat? Facebook chat, you can also, with Contractor Boost, that's another automation. With Facebook chat, Facebook Messenger, we build automations for that too. Send internal notifications that to people in the office saying, hey, you got a new Facebook chat. We wait for a reply on that. Send them some messages. Hey, sorry, bit caught up. Like we usually in Facebook chat, we just send messages like, if you don't respond in a certain amount of time, like we'll jump in and drop an automated message in there. But you could set up, there's a lot of cool softwares out there where you could set it up to automatically like really have a conversation. ManyChat is one of them. There's a bunch of these where like if they respond with these words, you tell them this, like it automatically sends this message. And if they respond with these words, it gives you this message. But you can communicate with Facebook through this. One of the challenges with Facebook, with Facebook's API to any of these messaging platforms to communicate with them, is Facebook will only keep that message open to the outside software for 24 hours. So after 24 hours, you cannot communicate back and forth in an external software. You have to do it through Facebook Messenger. What else, guys? Everyone wants to be quiet, except for my Pitch Pro movement people. That's who's on here. That's who's chatting. All right. No other questions. Well, we can finish up for the day. Really appreciate everyone jumping on. If you need anything, just reach out to us. Schedule a call. Be happy to have a conversation about what we can do for your roofing company as a marketing agency. Listen to the podcast. Check out all of our content on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Follow us all over the place. Hopefully we do our best to provide great educational content for the roofing industry. And thanks for everyone's time today. Talk soon.